Hi, and welcome to Fletcher's first week of Puppy Day School with No Bones About It dog training. Um, the first week is really about getting this puppy comfortable. Fletcher! Yes. Socializing with the other dogs, kind of getting comfortable with the routine, and really starting to introduce our foundation skills. So just a couple comments on day 2. Fletcher has an awesome temperament, really confident around all of the dogs who are older. Fletcher is really the youngest of this group, and but he came right in. He's happy to play. His play style is really appropriate. Fletcher, yes, good job, yay! So that's awesome. Personally, I would up his food a little bit. He looks a little bit skinny. So puppies tend to grow in different spurts. As puppy parents, we tend to follow guidelines on the bags of food, which are wildly, they're kind of all over the place. So it really is just a guideline. But for a puppy, you really shouldn't be able to see and feel their ribs. You really want some chunkiness in them. So I would try and see if upping some food, to each meal over the next couple weeks will sort of help fill him out. And we'll be using lots of treats and kibble and things like that as we're practicing. So, number one thing that we work on first week, we call it name game. It's the foundation for everything we do. It means stop, look, and listen. It means whatever you're doing, no matter who you're playing with, if you hear your name, I should have this wonderful head snap where that dog turns and makes eye contact and finds out what I need. And it really builds from day one that dog's desire to move towards us, which in its final form will be recall, come when I call you. Okay, hi! So I spend a lot of time working on, again, just getting the dog to understand that being around me is valuable. And when they're offering me nice behaviors like sit and attention, they're going to get rewarded. Now, I do a lot of times have food on my body, but I try to be really careful with my body language that I don't sit and hold it in my hands out in front of me. I want to have it in kind of a more natural position. Sometimes I'll put my hands in my pockets, sometimes I'll leave them behind my back, but we really don't want your dog starting to associate that the only time they're going to work with us if they see us holding our hands out with food. So just be careful, be cognizant of that. All right, so Fletcher, yes. So number one rule of name game is that we want to set this dog up for success. We want to only use their name when they think they can be successful. And if I say that puppy's name and they do not, hi little puppers, Fletcher, yes. If I say that name one time and I don't get eye contact, then I'm going to stop. I am not going to repeat that puppy's name, and then I'm going to find out how I can make it easier for the dog to be successful. So what would be choices of making it easier? That would look like, let's say, Margaret, you want to toss me a toy over here?
Yeah.
Let's say the distraction level is really high. So I've got a toy over here. Let's see what happens if I say puppy's name. Fletcher! Yes, good job. But let's say this thing was so interesting that that puppy didn't want to look at me. I would go ahead and I could remove the distraction. If the distraction wasn't something, thank you. And I'm always gonna, when a puppy is sitting around me, giving me beautiful eye contact, not jumping, that's something that I'm gonna continue to reward because I want that behavior to be default. I want that behavior to be something that that puppy chooses to do all the time when they're around. So if I can't remove the distraction, I will move the dog further away from the distraction, or I will close the distance between myself and the dog, or even get down to their little ground level. So those are ways that I could make it easier. But number one rule of name game is that you do not want to be repeating the dog's name, and then eventually they look and they get rewarded. That defeats the purpose, okay? So, we're going to try this a couple more times. When you're working, your treats should be, can you just make sure you let me know that you can see this as I, so You see that? So here's a small, what they call training treat, okay? I would break this into probably 4 pieces. So treats for puppies should be small enough that they could basically put in their mouth and swallow without even chewing. That's really important. So again, keeping those behind my back and making sure the dog isn't looking at me when I first start off this game. Fletcher, yes. Making sure that I deliver the treats low enough towards the dog so that they're not jumping up. So if I come down like this, see what happens? If I go to reward a dog from this direction, I'm going to usually create a situation where the puppy wants to jump up. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I come down sort of more like low and towards the dog. So think of it more like an L, like boop, boop, coming in like that to reward. Fletcher, yes. I also use what's called a marker word. That is in the handbook that is going to be attached to your videos this week. Fletcher, yes. So the marker word marks the exact moment the dog does what I'm looking for, and it's the word yes. It can be followed by praise, treats, all that kind of stuff, but think about, so let's say I was asking for a sit. Fletcher, sit. Yes. So the second the butt hits the ground, that's when I use my marker word, and then the treat can follow at any point after that, okay? So that really, if you read your handbook, it describes the point of using it. It becomes very important as we get working on distance work with our puppies. All right? The other thing, hi, Bo Pup. Hi, gotcha. Fletcher doesn't have a big, what we call oppositional reflex. When I grab a puppy's collar and put pressure on it, some puppies will really want to run away or back away. Sometimes even reaching towards them causes a dog to want to move away. So that's something that we have to work towards, but I still want to do this thing called our gotcha game or our collar grab, where I just grab the collar, hold onto it, and deliver a cookie. So again, treat behind my back, grab the collar, hold onto it, give a cookie. So that teaches my dog that as they come in, they're going to get lots of rewards, and that it's really valuable to be caught. A lot of puppies start learning that being caught isn't good. It means they're going to go in a crate. It means if they're having fun outside, that they get put somewhere else. So really working on just making sure that if you don't have that oppositional reflex, that it never happens. Ooh, Fletcher hears other puppies getting cookies. Fletcher! Yes, good job! So I can combine that with my name game. So dog walks over towards me, I grab that collar as they get close enough, and then I deliver my treats. So good job, Fletcher! Yay! So those are really the biggest things that I want you working on this week. And once we really get those skills down, which we are doing very good at already, then next week we'll start building on a lot more of our obedience skills. Sit down, go to your mat, things like that. So have a great weekend, and we're super, super proud of Fletcher and his first week. Yay! The other skill that I want you to be focusing on really heavily over the next couple weeks is what we call hand targeting, or the touch game. And the concept is really simple. All the puppy has to do is take its nose and bonk it on the fingers or the palm of my outstretched hand when I ask them to touch. A lot of times my clients are like, what? Why? Like, that just seems so silly. Like, why would I teach that? It is really one of the best skills you will be able to teach your dog, because it's really easy for them to figure out. And, hi, Fletcher. And it becomes super useful to engage your dog when there's a lot of distractions around. So what we find is that it's not really effective to tell a dog not to do something. If we're on a walk, don't bark at the other dog. Don't go greet that other human. Don't bark at the bird or the leaf walking across. What we need to do is we need to engage the brain to do something else. So hand targeting becomes kind of this amazing tool that not only can we utilize to refocus the dog on something else, but we can utilize it to get the dog closer to us if they're doing something else or far away. I use it all the time. And even my dogs that have been here for 12 weeks, that have gone through 8 weeks of puppy training and 4 weeks of what we call teen training. They're about 6 months old now. Today is their last day, and we utilize it all the time as we're out on the trails, walking down the street, things like that. Here we go. So I'm going to show you how to introduce this in a way that's you can be successful with your puppy. Hi, Fletch. Okay, so what makes the dog want to go and target your hand? It's movement. It's the interest and just curiosity in the beginning. So I'm going to get the puppy up. Better to have them standing than laying down. Hi, go find that. Hi, what's that? Go find it. Good job. Put my hand out to my side. Touch. Okay, if they don't touch, we put it away and we try again. Because again, it's really the movement. I don't want to leave it out there. Keep saying touch or move it towards the puppy. I want them to actively move towards my hand. Toucher, touch. Yes. Okay, and then the treat gets delivered. So here's my target. I have one treat in my other hand. I take it and I deliver right to the dog in front of the target hand. Don't turn the target over and put it in your hand like that. I want it target, treat. Okay? Up, 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 touch. Yes. You're always going to start with one hand and practice with that hand for a bunch of times in a row. Touch. Yes. Okay, using that marker word, yes, as soon as the dog's nose touches the palm of my hand. Touch. Yes. You might get some licking too. It's okay. Here we go. Touch. Yes. So also putting that hand at nose level, really important. You don't want it to be up too high so the puppy has to jump for it. Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Okay, so let's say I put that hand out. The puppy doesn't touch. Okay, I need to make it easier, right? I need to put the hand away. Don't repeat the cue. I want to put it out again, maybe closer. Also, dogs sitting makes it really hard. A lot of times sitting, they don't want to move. Hey, up, 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 touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Fletcher. Touch. Yes. Good. Touch. Yes. There you go. So hand targeting. Awesome cue. Work on that as much as you work on name game. Good job.